Okay, it's still a little bit grainy. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Darina, aka Nina, and I entitled this video, I Am Not My Illness. I'm going to tell you a true story about how I became with an illness of bipolar disorder. It started back in November of 2001, where I had, maybe I sit over here. Okay, now I got it. So it was Thanksgiving, to be exact, 2001. I was with this guy, and he and I were what you would call casually dating. I was all falling in love with him for all the wrong reasons. And this man told me, oh, I thought in my mind he wanted to marry me because I had known him for some years, and thought I was ready, but I was out of my mind. I didn't realize how far gone I was until the something in my head told me to jump out the car while the car was moving. He stopped the car, and I tried to get into somebody else's car, and then I found myself going into the Robert Tree Hotel in downtown Newark, and I got into my birthday suit. They put handcuffs on me to protect myself and others, and they transported me to the nearest hospital, which was University Hospital. They called my father because somebody knew my father in the hospital. My father came in and asked what was going on, and he called my mom, and my mom came down. And my mom was asking questions. I mean, she knew that I had what was called the chemical imbalance, as she would explain it. But really, I didn't know that it was coming full circle until that day. And then they shot me with a tranquilizer, put me to sleep. I woke up, I felt fine. I was a little bit more lucid, and they said, where you at? I'm in the hospital. Why am I? And then the question was, I was confused because I'm saying to them, why am I here? Well, I don't need to be here. And I was trying to get out, and security held me down, and the hospital psychiatrist came in and said, "Well, we diagnosed you as having bipolar disorder." I said, "Oh." I didn't understand it. It was one of those things where having a mental illness back into the early 2000s was considered taboo. I mean, it was just being talked about in the beginning, but not too many people was really coming to terms with it. Mainly me being one of them. So I spent the next 4 years going in and out of the hospital facilities until I finally decided to get it right because I had a child at the time. My son was 2 and he was getting older. So we made up a plan to get my pills together for my medications, and we decided on a plan for me to stick with, program to get into, to talk to somebody, get a psychiatrist. I had to start collecting disability because I had to accept that I couldn't work anymore. It was a lot of that, and that really just threw me for a loop. And then I spent the next, I want to say, 10 years living a healthy lifestyle. My son was getting older. I had since met who was my now husband. I met him in 2006, 2 years after I got healthy. excuse me, and we've been together ever since. Got married in 2012, just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and then I had a setback. Well, I had my daughter in 2016, and when she turned 5, um, I had a setback, and I started spiraling out of control once again. And I realized this really was just like I said, I couldn't believe this was happening again. So, long story short, my husband called 911, and they I think he transported me to the hospital, and then he said he can't that I can't come home because he was afraid for me. He was afraid of me, and he was afraid for our daughter. So they had to keep me. And they said, well, the only place we could have her go is a place that has a bed, and that's Northbrook Hospital. So I said, okay. And I seen the look on my husband's face, and he knew I wasn't coming home. I knew I wasn't coming home. I just seen it, and I just decided that I had to do what I had to do. And after that, I spent 22 days, 22 nights in Northbrook trying to get it together. I almost had to go to court just to plead my case as to why I should go home and be with my family, but I somehow was able to convince them that I was ready to go, take my medications, and live a healthier lifestyle and be with my family. So, since then, I've been very astute with taking my medications on time. I have to take it right after I do this live. And I eat, meditate and pray. I tell my husband every night when I take my medications at what time so he understands. And he knows that he's my witness. Like, if anything should happen to me, they can say, what time did she take her medications? And then he can say, oh, she took it at this amount of time. And here I am. So I'm saying this to say that if I can live a healthy lifestyle, you can too. We have to interrupt the process of the stigmatism of having, with regards to having mental illnesses, like not just bipolar, like paranoid schizophrenia, or PTSD. I mean, if someone is out there living with a mental illness, get help. Don't be afraid, because there's too many people that's scared to come out and speak about it. And they have to know that there are places for people like them or their loved ones that are dealing with these emotions that they have no control over. This is why I'm putting this live up here right now. I'm live streaming in the YouTube studio, and I'm going to put it on my page, and I'm going to share it so that people will understand that, hey, this is the way that you should do it. There's a better way of doing it, and you should do it, and not to be afraid of doing it. So, in closing, I'm going to put up more posts. I'm going to shout it through the mountaintop via social media, of course, because of COVID. And hopefully, we're going to get the word out. I mean, I want to use my story as a tutelage to be an ambassador to help others. And if I can save one life at a time, then I'm doing my job. This is Nina, aka Darina, and I'm an aspiring motivational speaker. If you would love to see me do speeches for you, just hit me up on the chat. And follow me on Instagram at Darina, DAARINAJ, or Facebook under Darina Jefferson. Just send me a message as long as it's serious, and then I'll be able to respond to you. And then we'll go from there. All my sisters in the mom link, I would appreciate if you check out this video and let me know what you think. Just critique it, tell me what you think, and then we could go from there. So I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to say thank you and God bless. And I will talk to you soon. Good night.